up, Vin?
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch. Buy our merch.
And the child shall lead them. And Andre says, to buy our merch. Okay, guys, we have been doing the Revo stream. It's been extremely eclectic and a little bit emotional, but that's okay, because that's what we're about here. This is about authentic music reactions. We've got one more song in our. We did a 5 straight from DJ Revo.
And so the last one on the list that we are going to go into is Godflesh-Shut Me Down.
Godflesh-Shut Me Down. And let's just go right into it. Godflesh-Shut Me Down. Let's do it. Whoa. Yes, indeed. have returned. Okay.
How long was that song?
I was like 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Okay,
25?
seriously, if I still lived at my old house, you know I had that bag, the bag? Yeah. It would, if you had like
the heavy?
Yeah, it would be a 3-minute intense workout. And so there would be like
100%.
a series of punches and kicks to each time he hits that thing. And then you have to have all this activity in between when it would be a really crazy 3-minute workout.
I am so happy that you did not save that previous song for last, Revo.
Oh, I know. I know.
Because this song, and I like that everybody liked it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because it's kind of new metal-y in the sense of like, we're going to take one riff and just ride that shit. Remember yesterday, we were listening to a Dream Theater song, and then there was one little section at the very, very end of that song, and I was like, holy shit. They, if it was a new metal band, they would have just took that part and wrote it for 3 minutes and made a song out of it. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, like, I bet you anything I could listen to a bunch of old Megadeth and a bunch of Dream Theater and find those little 3-second throwaways that they do and just like write an entire record off of just those things and like look like a genius. Because,
I'm sure.
Yeah, we went on yesterday for 4 hours, Sean.
We're basically we're gonna be on a lot.
Listen, we're gonna be on a lot practically every other day. What I will say is unsubscribe, resubscribe, and click the bell. That seems to work. You will literally find all of you'll get the notifications if you do that. Amy Lee figured that out. But yeah, man, that riff was just hard as fuck. Which, of course, is not like a massively original riff or whatever. But again, I'm starting to figure out, it's like, it doesn't need to be, bro. It doesn't need to be. So now I'm like, man, we got to really, really jump back into the studio and just hammer out these songs that I've got floating around in my head, because we've got about 4 or 5 of them that I think are bangers. Because
there's some solid content.
We got one song that's like 5 minutes long, but it's worth it. But we, bring back those 3-minute metal songs, because that's all I could do. I wish what's his face was here. Ben would have been like, oh, nothing but chugga lugga lugga lugga. Shout out to Ben Webb.
Yeah.
And shout out to everybody, guys. The streams are all, they're all recorded. They're all up there. So you guys aren't missing much. It's all good. Okay. What did you think the song was about?
I don't know. It was like I said, it was a workout song for me, and it was like just energetic and, well, not energetic, but more like it assaulted you. Boom, 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 like that. Instead of it being like, so it wasn't like yippee energetic. So yeah, it was good. I don't know, I don't know. What do you think it's about?
Daryl says, Godflesh and Dream Theater are like the opposite. Sometimes I wonder how many notes John Petrucci plays per song. I agree. It was cool too to watch Petrucci yesterday, because you were able to see him on a multitude of occasions live, and just what the guy does with that instrument is ridiculous. Ridiculous. But as Sean is saying, like, it's time to pump you up. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like that. This song is like, the guitar is crazy. It's like really driving it, and I just love heavy music, so that's what I'm about. Okay, what did you think the song was about? We got the lyrics up here.
Yes,
so
we literally asked me this question 4 minutes ago. I'll say the same thing again.
What did you say?
I don't know. And I said, what do you think it's about?
Oh, my bad. Revo, where you at, big homie? Where's the big homie Revo? Where'd he go? Okay, so here are the lyrics. Revo will respond soon, inshallah, and then we'll be able to figure it out. Veins full, breakdown, escape, hold on. It will never end now, die now. Don't take anything that will be you. Don't take your soul, all end, all end. And that was pretty much it. Those were the lyrics. So I had a quick kind of idea. The name of the record is a world lit only by fire, which is a pretty cool That's a pretty good name for a song. A World Lit Only by Fire.
Mm-hmm.
I initially, I just thought of it as drugs. I thought of it as drugs telling the guy to basically leave me alone, shut me down, stop doing drugs, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, the first line is veins full, so that's where I went, because veins full, and it's a metal song, so that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily
Don't
mean
take
it's
anything
right.
that will be you. Don't take your soul. What do you think? You mean like, you know, like sometimes we saw the people that were like addicts and they were having a hard time to not do any sort of drugs, and when they were in that situation, it was almost like they were willing to give up every bit of themselves to get
For
that
the drug.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, you're right.
We actually have 6 kids.
Rest in peace, ears. That's what somebody said one time. Rest in peace, ear. Where you guys can hear our music, we've got a 15-second clip. Don't we have a 15-second clip on Patreon of the song?
Yeah, there's a little clip on Patreon. Well, I think so.
Okay. But Alan says veins full could be adrenaline. Doesn't necessarily have to be drugs, which of course adrenaline is a drug, but you guys know what we're saying.
What was that message that Revo said?
Revo says, hell if I know. This is a third to the $8.99, the last poll. All the other songs I have explanations for.
See, that's what I was going to say about him. I was
Yeah.
pretty sure that he picked something that they would
But yeah,
want.
If I was in an alliance, I'd have to get Revo on the team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, veins full could also be adrenaline. But the reason I said heroin, because it says veins full breakdown, escape, hold on, it will never end now, die now. So it looks to me like the person is like a drug, you know,
Escape,
it's almost like the drug is being anthropomorphized and is now like talking.
Yeah.
So if I'm heroin and I'm talking to the person, veins full breakdown, escape, hold on. So you're taking the drug to escape, but simultaneous to that, you're trying to hold on to, you know, your sanity, your life, whatever. And that's a very, very difficult line to tread when you're on drugs, right?
Yeah,
like it's almost impossible to make that distinction. End now, die now, which again could be either end the drugs now or die now. Because you can't have life and drugs at the same time, right?
I thought when you said it was about drugs, when it got to that part, I thought it was end now, as in when you put it in and then you're done. You're done giving yourself the drugs. Die now was the way that you're feeling as you're slipping into it.
Yeah. Wait, say that again.
End now is when you stopped injecting yourself with the drug or however you took it.
I see what you're saying.
And then die now was the way that you feel when the drug comes through your body.
Yeah, and end now, die now can also be if a person is heavily addicted to something like heroin. They might be saying, look, I can't end it now because if I did, I'd die. Which is actually true for a lot of them if they're not detoxing among professionals.
Yeah.
Right? Like people have literally died detoxing because
seek out a professional.
Yeah, seek out professional
Don't
help.
let that stop you. Don't be like, well, I can't really stop because I don't have a professional. Get a professional.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Yeah, get a professional. Faz all. Don't take anything that will be you. Don't take your soul all in. I think he's saying don't take anything that will turn you into something else. Don't take anything that will be you. Don't take your soul.
Oh, yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when it says be you, that's
they take over you and they are you.
Yeah. Don't take anything that will be you. Will take. It's really interesting. I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and I'm still not sure what they mean because they can't mean literally what they were saying, but they were talking about spirits. They're talking about alcohol, and they were saying that it was
microphone, and when you're jigging your fingers on it, it goes into their ears.
It was nicknamed. Well, I can hear everything in my microphone.
You can? Oh, they were saying it the last time that it was affecting you.
Yeah, I could hear it.
Oh, and it's not?
Yeah. Well, now it is, but
a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As long as you know. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's not my concern.
Because
It's not something I'm worried about.
Channel.
It's our channel. So I don't care.
All right. So what did he say?
What did who say?
Peterson.
So he was talking about, because alcohol used to be called spirits.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I remember this
And
conversation.
he was saying that, there is some sort of spirit in that substance that makes you do something different. Mm-hmm. And the other guy was like, yeah. And they were talking about DMT and all the rest of it. And they were talking as if they believed that there is some sort of ontology in these substances that then you ingest becomes part of your ontology, which then temporarily puts you in these altered states of consciousness. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if these are two massively intellectual people, and sometimes when you're eavesdropping in on very intellectual people talking, sometimes they talk in metaphor and they have understandings with each other, and they're not aware that regular plebeians are watching them. So mm-hmm. I don't know if Jordan meant that literally, or if he was using that figuratively. The guy he was talking to was like out to Mars, man. The guy was crazy. Well, I think he was high when he was talking to JP.
Oh, really?
But he's such a crazy scholar in a very, very specific discipline that there's literally like 2 or 3 people on the planet mm-hmm. that can do what this guy. I mean, he was rubbing shoulders with Jung and all the rest of it.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was contemporary?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, this guy was mega old, and he was he was taking shit with Hume, and they were going off into the ether.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, how many people? You know what I'm saying? So Jordan was gonna he was gonna talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Because so it was just a very weird discussion, but it does kind of possess you. Like some of these substances do kind of possess you and take you over. And the way the Bible describes demon possession is pretty, like, you look at an alcoholic, right? And it looks like, there are some times when you're looking at an alcoholic and a demonized person, they're very hard to tell the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm not trying to insult the alcoholic by saying, "Oh, you look like a demon," because in my mind,
I disagree with you.
The same principles are at play with both of them. Go ahead.
Well, just any of the people that I've seen that were demon possessed did not look at all like drunk. Like there was but that might be just because of who I am.
Well, you have a very, how many truly drunk people have you seen in your life?
I mean, I saw a lot. My uncles people that I know. Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
I mean, I've seen.
Is it that guy?
Well, they'd all get.
Is it the one that if I see him, he's got?
Oh, he would be one of them, yeah. But they weren't like, I guess.
That guy's in a
wheelchair
floor now, isn't he?
He is now.
All right. Well, Allah has already done what he needs to do to you. So, whatever.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen drunk people on a number of occasions, and I've also seen people that were demon possessed, and to me, they were not the same thing. But I'm saying, or even that they even looked the same. They didn't look the same.
Violent drunks.
Just angry drunks.
No. Violent drunks are
beating people up. I haven't seen that. No.
Yeah, violent drunks are a different ball of wax, and I'm not saying I'm not saying literally. What I'm saying is, it's very, very hard to tell the difference. As a matter of fact, I've seen a couple demonized people be extremely docile. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying when you're in the room with them mm-hmm. because it's sort of one of these things. It's kind of like seeing a cobra, like as it's about mm-hmm. to as it's leaning back, about to do some shit. Mm-hmm. So it's still the atmosphere is complete. I mean, you've been in those situations. The atmosphere is different. But what I'm saying is like
for sure
the idea that you're looking at a person, but there's some other principle that's guiding their decisions is the thing. It's the connection I make between alcoholism and demon possession.
Yeah.
It's just like there's just, and you look them in the eyes, and it's a very unsettling feeling because it's them, but it's not them looking back at you. Mm-hmm. And so, and of course, if I'm a secularist, there's a whole bevy of explanations for that for mm-hmm. sure. I'm just saying like, just emotionally what it looks like and what it sounds like and what mm-hmm. it feels like. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I mean, it's and this is not, and ironically, this is not to demonize people who are alcoholics, because from a biblical worldview, people who are demonized are generally people that you should feel some love for, and as people that need your assistance in overcoming this issue. Mm-hmm. So demonized people are never looked at as like horrible people. As a matter of fact, the people who do not treat demonized people well are looked upon negatively. So like the Gadarenes, for example, the way those people were with that person, they're not portrayed very well in the text.
Yeah.
And so people who judge folks who are addicted to who are possessed by, I'll say it this way, I'll scrap the word addicted and say possessed by strong drugs like heroin or alcohol or whatever, to judge those people is completely contrary to what we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do, is the point. So, but Christians do a very good job, I think, of saying, oh man, that person's demonized, that's terrible. But then when the person's an alcoholic, they'll just go, oh, it's not alcoholism, you're just a drunk. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's not drug addiction, you're just a waste. Like, shout out to John MacArthur. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how they talk about him. It's just all this judgment. It's like, well, shit, I'd rather die in a gutter than be in your congregation and hear people talk shit about a whole group of people they have no idea about. This shit is just crazy to me. A lot of these people don't even know about the nature of addiction and what it means. So again, I'm not saying that once you ingest alcohol, you now are demonized. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the effects of certain drugs and the effects of a person who's demonized from a Christian worldview, many times you can't make the distinction if you're just going by the aesthetics. That's my point.
Right.
So I want to make that very, very clear. I will say, because, Alan is saying, does cannabis demonize people? What I will say about cannabis or any mind-altering substance, though, is that, and this is one of the things that makes me so fascinated about DMT, is that, and it's like I wanted to jump through my screen when I was listening to Jordan Peterson talk with this guy, because Jordan Peterson was like, well, he's like, there's got to be some, because they were speculating about Christianity and DMT, and for example, looking at Revelation, and John is on this random island, and so they were like, well, maybe he ran into some whatever, and he had this esoteric experience, blah blah blah, and like so JP was like, man, there's some connection between this and Christianity. I just don't know what it is. And I'm like, JP, you dumb butt. Because the word for sorcery, for example, in the New Testament, the word for sorcery in the New Testament and the Old Testament is pharmakia.
Surprise.
Pharmakia, as in pharmacy. That's the Greek word for sorcery. And it's obviously clear that in the in those cults that sprung about, in that period, narcotics were absolutely almost central to the practice of the religion. So there is a correlation between these substances, cultic practice, and demonization. And so for me, there's so much about consciousness that we do not know.
Yep.
When you think about the hard problem of consciousness, for example, there's so much about consciousness we don't know. And it appears to me that some of these substances are opening up certain spiritual and ultimate realities. I look at where I am right now is that this stuff is a shortcut to the real world. So the world we're in right now is not really the real world. But when people go on these DMT trips, they're getting a grain of sand from the authentic world, what they're seeing. And Terrence McKenna has talked about this, where he said there are shamans and people who can have those experiences without the DMT. So I think to myself, okay, so why does the Bible say no pharmakia? And I think it's simply saying, yep, you can have access to that world, but you can't take this shortcut, because if you take this shortcut, I'm not there on that tour. So there's like two different ways to visit this jungle or visit this sideshow or whatever you want to call it. One way is to be so in tune with the divine, which is ultimate reality, that he then says, okay, this is what ultimate reality actually looks like, but that's born out of an actual connection relationship with God. But if you don't want the connection and relationship with God and you want to go a detour and take your own way, then you're opening yourself up to a tour guide who may not have your best interest at heart, which is one of the reasons why when you look at like the forbidden fruit, for example, right? So I'm at the point now where I'm like, okay, the Old Testament uses term like fruit because there's no category for narcotic or DMT or whatever. But I'm pretty much at the point now where I'm like, okay, that thing, whatever they ate, was a DMT type substance because they ate something and then it opened up their consciousness.
Right.
And it obviously had epigenetic ramifications because they were never able to go backwards after that, as far as go back to a point of. So you know, that's one of those things. I just think that those things are out there, and the more science we learn, the more we realize that those weird superstitious shamans back then were actually right and knew what the fuck they were talking about. Especially when you hear about this ayahuasca stuff, where people were like, okay, because you've got the MAO and you got this MAO, right? So when DMT hits you, you've got this chemical in your body that stops it. So boom, it's called MAO, right? That stops that so that you have a shortened experience. But if you add ayahuasca to the DMT, the ayahuasca is an MAO inhibitor, so now you can have a longer experience. And so when McKenna and all these guys are looking around and saying, how the hell did you guys figure that out? That's kind of random. The shaman said, the plants told us. Okay, say what you want. Say all that's bullshit, plants don't talk, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's fine. The problem is that you've got all these post-enlightenment brilliant people, all these Western philosophers who are at the pinnacle of human ingenuity, so-called, and they don't have a clue as to how that came about. And we're going to them to figure out how to navigate these experiences. So I'm going to go ahead and say those people are the authority. I know that Westerners think that if you didn't go to some school or whatever, you're not authority. But I'm going to take the people who've been doing this shit for literally thousands of years before the Bible was written. I'm going to go ahead and say that when they say the plant told them that, I'm going to go ahead and agree. Because all of us know with DMT, something else is happening.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Something else is happening when people are on these DMT trips.
That's obvious.
That's obvious. So, and to Alan's point, so they've become like us. Correct. I believe that was a major point.
It's an interesting breakdown for sure.
Yeah. So there's a lot. Drugs and consciousness and how that all works together is massively fascinating. And what I love about the concept of DMT is that all these brilliant, the arrogance of the Western world, man. Just the arrogance of we know everything. All those backwoods people. I hear it all the time when we talk about the Bible. All these backwoods people, blah 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 blah. And now it's like, well, maybe people knew things we didn't know. Maybe that's true.
Right.
Because now you've got the most brilliant Sam Harris. These are the pinnacle of the Western intelligentsia. All of them now are going to these shaman and submitting to these shaman.
So what do you make of that?
So do what you. But this is the ridiculous American Western Anglo-Saxon. We know everything. You people are backwoods cave people. Blah blah blah. And I think it's cool that guys like Sam Harris and Rogan, especially a guy like Sam Harris, like is willing to explore that stuff because he's made his thing, by ridiculing people for having strange beliefs or beliefs that he thinks are strange. Well, I don't know if he's ridiculing people. I think his disciples do. I'll say that. You can't put that on him. His disciples are doing that. So yeah, I think it's really fascinating. So not a lot of deep lyrics in the song, but it actually
struck up a conversation.
Struck up a very what an eclectic freaking very, very. Hold on. So Revo hasn't done a super chat, but he's gonna have to get one of these, man. Revo, this is a really, 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 really good collection of songs. I really thought he did a really good job. And what I loved, my favorite part, and don't feel any pressure about this, guys, but my favorite part about this stream in particular was the breakdowns of the historical stuff behind the song that we're able to see and we're able to put up there, because when Revo does it, like, I get to read it and it's really involved in stuff, and it's very hard to like translate that to people in such a way that it flows. But it was cool because Revo was doing it in little chunks, and I was able to put it up there, and then people had more of a way of getting it. And understanding. I just thought,
agree.
and like I said, I'm not putting any pressure on anybody. Revo is extremely involved in this stuff, so he does a good job doing that. So I'm not putting any pressure on any DJ or anybody else. I'm just saying that that's Revo's style, and he's been like that for years. So I really appreciate that. Kudos to the homie.
With that said, I give the song a 9. What do you give the song?
If the plants told them, then why can't they speak to anyone else? Are they the only ones that can hear the plants talk? Well, I mean, there is a sense, Daniel, and I don't know, Daniel, if you listen to a lot of this Joe Rogan stuff, but there is a sense in which a lot of people are having a conversation with these plants. That's what they say. They say that the lady, actually one of them called her Lady Ayahuasca. A lot of these people think that the entities that people meet are just emanations from the plant itself, which on a scientific level it would have to be, right? Because that's the substance that they're ingesting. It's the only variable. And it's funny because Daryl McMillan answered the question immediately. Mother Ayahuasca speaks to anyone who takes her. Right. Now, again, as a Christian, what I'm saying is the Bible says don't do that. Mm-hmm. Get to the ultimate reality by dealing with the God who is ultimate reality. Don't take a side route, because if you take a side route, there's lots of people that have very negative trips in DMT as well and are extremely terrified. Yep. So there's that. So anyway, what did you give the song?
I gave it a 9. What did you give it?
This is a 10 for me. This is a 10 for me. The reason it's a 10 for me is because of just how rockin' the riffage was, and the lyrics were compacted. There was a flow of thought to them, but at the same time, it was vague enough to where you could have interpreted it in a bunch of different ways.
Okay. Yep.
So that's why it's a 10 for me.
Makes sense.
There you are, dear listener. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.